past staff, past head teachers, present staff. I'm really pleased you could come. When we decided we wanted to do something to celebrate the life of Moorside and the impact it's had on the community, and as many of you will know that from the 31st of December, Moorside closes, and it will join with Concert to become the Concert Academy. I'm Linda Rodden. For those of you who don't know me, I'm currently acting head teacher, and I'm very, very proud to have been here for the last 8 years. So we wanted to do something special, and we decided on a project called Memories of Moorside, and this is only part of it. So we wanted to do something for ex-staff, ex-pupils. We wanted to do something for current pupils and current staff. And there's lots of things going on at the moment within Moorside to do with celebrating Moorside's life. Now, when we started with this project, I had no idea. I've only been here 8 years and I didn't realise the extent of the history of this school, and it's been absolutely fascinating. We have had a lot of help from the county records at Durham. We've had a lot of help from ex-staff and students all around the world. We've had lots of people who have been videoed, people bringing in books and records from home. It's been a real trip down memory lane and fascinating. But for me, I suddenly realised the impact that this school has had on the community, on Concert itself. And I guess that started when I spoke to Bill Stockdale. Now, Bill was head of science. He was one of the first of the teaching staff in 1959, September 1959, when this school opened. And the first thing Bill said to me was, Moorside is always a happy school. And it still is. It's a theme, it's something that we've managed to keep for 52 years. It's fair to say Moorside is still a happy school. I thought, right, okay. Something else that was said to me, technology has always played a huge part of this school. And again, it was Bill who said when the school opened in 1959, students were able to access facilities that they couldn't access previously when they'd been in very small schools. Things like, you know, woodworking, metalworking, great science labs, etc. Now, we got specialist status in 2005. We became a technology college. And it's one of the key things that helped us really raise achievement here. And certainly this is a school that is very technology, science and maths savvy. And IT. We're one of the leaders with new technologies. More than a coincidence? Also, I was very surprised to find that Moorside has roamed the world. You know, it's funny, but I've asked all tutors to show students the memories of Moorside in the classroom. And they've seen the photographs and they've seen some of the videos. And they've also found out that students roamed the world. They've been to Switzerland, Iceland, Norway, Russia. This is before 1989. Moorside students went behind the Iron Curtain. They've been to the Mediterranean, Spanish Morocco, Germany, France, India and Singapore. And let's not forget the £16,000 which was raised in the 80s to go to Peru. Now, we still have you know, trips abroad. But as far as the kids are concerned now, it's to Spain. They go to Spain and France. So of course they're thinking, well, why can't we go to places like this? Well, sorry we've had to say to them, but now health and safety probably wouldn't allow us to take you to these places. You know, fantastic experiences that past students have had. Good leadership is also remembered. A lot of students spoke very highly of a lot of the previous head teachers, and also very proudly of the learning that had gone on while they'd been here, and also the relationships with the staff. Moorside has had, in 52 years, 8 substantive head teachers and 2 acting head teachers. In 52 years, that's not bad. That's a pretty good average. Charity is another theme that I found is still ongoing now. Moorside has always raised funds for international, national and local charities, and we still do. We still support charities, and that has been the case since the 60s. And last but not least, and for me it's the most important thing, pride. What comes through from people I've spoken to from the 60s and onwards is pride. Staff and pupils are all very proud of Moorside throughout the decades. And that is very much still evident today if you were to come into Moorside during the day when the students are here. We're very, very proud of our school. And we might be closing, but we are closing at the top of our game. We are a grade 1 school, an outstanding school, that's official. We have beaten most of the secondary schools in Durham for the most important benchmark of 5HC, including English and Maths. Nationally, we're well above average. So, this is why it's so important to celebrate the success. But that success started many years ago. It hasn't just happened by accident. Can I introduce now Philip Archer? Philip is our Chair of Governors, but he's also a past student.
Thank you, Linda. Yes, that's right. I wrote a few ideas down for little anecdotes from when I was a pupil here. And I've, since coming in here half an hour ago, I've thought of quite a few more with the faces and little bits of conversations that I've had. But Linda made reference to the trip around the archives that was made to gather together all of the documents from the history of the school. And just for the record, I want to state now that the correlation between my spell here at Moorside as a student, which was between the years of 1974 and 79, and the fact that the punishment record book for that exact same period has gone missing is entirely coincidental. Mr. Ross here somewhere. I'm sure he'd vouch for that. There we go. I've never been in punishment, so I'm sure you know that. Having said that, one of the little anecdotes that I thought of that just popped into my head just now, the name Mrs. Llewellyn was mentioned. I don't know if she's here, but
Mrs. Llewellyn broke 2 wrists last night and came out of hospital today.
I'm sure we all wish her a speedy recovery, but you might want to take this story back to her. And one I'm not very proud of, didn't make a habit of, but one morning in assembly, in the very late spell of my teaching here, the head teacher said, would Philip Archer and John Clark remain after assembly to see Mrs. Llewellyn? And I don't know what that could be about. She was a drama teacher. Did she want us to appear in her latest production? Anyway, it turned out that wasn't the case, and she said, you were in the back room of the wheat chief last night. So that was banged to rights. What else have I got here? Lots of lovely memorabilia around here. I've spotted my own picture. I donated my school photo from 1975. Happily, that was after the National Health Glasses, a period I like to call the Benny Hill years, and one of today. And Mr. Draper here doesn't remember either, so I'm hoping to get it through to him during the course of the evening, and a little light will flash up there. But he was my metalwork teacher and form teacher in the 5th year as well. What else have I got down here? Mr. Morris isn't here?
No.
Which is a shame, because I'd like to pay tribute to him, his achievements over the past 8 years or so. We're certainly going out on a high, and that's very largely down to his dedication, expertise, and I'm sure that's widely acknowledged. One other little anecdote. Some of us lads, I can't remember what year it was, but played rugby. We were absolutely hopeless and always got thrashed. but when Mr Hutchinson was the head teacher, he arranged for us to go to Durham Johnson to play the lads there, to be annihilated by them. So off we went one Saturday morning, and we were doing our best. I mean, God knows how many points we were down when I saw a very animated Mr Hutchinson standing on the sideline and cheering his lads on and encouraging them as best he could by shouting, "Come on, Durham!" Which I'm sure he just forgot himself, I'm sure. I'm sure he meant what he was saying. Because apparently his son went to Durham Johnson, I understand that. But Linda made reference to the most recent achievements of the school and the fact that we're one of the best in the county. And one of the schools that we're better than is Durham Johnson. So there, come on, go say. So that's all I have to say. I look forward to mingling later and catching up with one or two people. I'd like to hand you now to Bill Stockdale, who was one of the original members of staff that we were saying from 1959. Thank you.
Thank you. Just like being back in the old routine standing here. And what an old routine it was, because it's 52 years since I first became acquainted with this school. It was in the June, July of '59, and Jack Ellison, the head designate, a fellow from Black Hill who was a joiner and a handyman, general factotum for the county, and myself came down here to look at the school, see how it was progressing, open out the equipment, and deal with the builders, make sure they tidied the place up. They were very good builders. Everything was great. We got on well with the people from Glasgow who were doing the plastering. And in fact, got on so well that I persuaded them to do a little job for me, which was to build a cellar behind the science room bench and a trapdoor which you could sort of open and then go, you know, down like that. Nobody remember that? Right. Well, that's still secret, and I mean it's hidden, so they won't find it now. Anyway, we opened as what was called a multilateral unit, or part of a multilateral unit, and that was this school, Moorside Secondary, and Concert Secondary Grammar, and Concert Tech. And the idea was movement between the, parts of the school, because 11 Plus had segregated them. And the idea was you would still move from modern to secondary, secondary to modern, modern to technical. That was the theory. In effect, I only remember 2 people moving from here to Concert Grammar, but with regard to commercial subjects, shorthand, typing and so forth, the girls did go out for that. With regard to plumbing and bricklaying, welding, the boys did go to Concert Tech, so there was that kind of movement. If you think about the schools that were closing to facilitate this opening, it was Castleside Senior, it was Concert Church of England Senior, Ledgate Church of England Senior, Ledgate County, and Westwood. Their senior departments were to close in order to come here. Now I can talk about Ledgate because I was working there, and that had been opened in 1908, and we had outside lavatories which froze in the winter. We had no school hall. The meals were cooked in Medemsley and transported in containers to school, and you fed in the classroom. Gymnastics were taken in a corridor, and the school field was 3/4 of a mile from the building. The staff weren't looked after. There was 1 lavatory for 16 staff. And if you took out the teacher on duty, then 15 got a minute each to use the lavatory during the break. So imagine coming here. We came to the facilities here, wonderful, and it has been said, 2 science labs, metalwork, built-in gym, place to dine on the platform as it was, great, wonderful. School fields all around us. Staff well looked after, 2 staff rooms, or we only used 1. Plenty of toilets, there was no need to have a movement control officer anymore. Just sort of worked on. The stuff we drew from the closing senior departments, quite a few experienced ones, with a mix of newer ones who brought some energy into us as well. The head was Jack Ellison, who had been a pilot in the Second World War. Deputy head was Bob Richardson, who had been in the Royal Flying Corps in the First World War, and so we got off to a flying start. We started off by doing things called J1 exams, J2, T1, T2, Northern Counties, and also CSEs. And these were the gateway, the pathway to things like national certificates and city and guilds, because we wanted the boys particularly to be having an apprenticeship and go to engineering, work for the company, go to NCB, Ransman Hoffman Pollard, was it? Ransman Mars, that's what it's called. And British Ordnance. So you could say to the lads, you're going to get an apprenticeship if you stick in. You can say to the girls, you're going to get a job in the office, the works, or the NCB, or if you do hygiene and human biology, you'll be a cadet nurse at Charlie Bridge Hospital. Incentive, great, go ahead and do it. Things were going along quite swimmingly. We had established the first visits from the school. They weren't as ambitious as the ones you mentioned. It was simply a visit to Engelberg in Switzerland and some visits to Houghton in the Lake District for outward bound sailing on dinghies. Later on, of course, we'd have our own sailing club on the Durham Reservoir, and we had a boat going up there. We also had camps. Did a camp at Beagle, did a camp at Gibraltar Rock. I mean, the one up here, not the one in the Med. We also did various visits like that. Where was Berry, of course, we went to Berry. And that was going on. We got the teams going, the football clubs, the athletics clubs. Everything was going on swimmingly. And then Jack Ellison decided he was going to move to the grammar school. So he left. By this time I'd been appointed deputy head. Jack moved to the grammar school. We got Victor Gain directly from a British Army school in Germany. He came here and introduced GCE courses. So we began for the first time to do GCE here. Again, it was a happy time. We'd established good relationships. If you think about it, in the very beginning, the children who came here had been used to being in their own village. They'd been used to being able to go home at lunchtime if they wanted. And suddenly they were bused by scholars' buses en masse down to here. They were strangers in a strange land of the Grove and Horside and Castleside. They had to form new relationships. By this time, we had formed those relationships. They had a foot in this world as well. It was a happy school. It was going along fine. And then Victor Gain, comprehensive word was mooted at that point. And when that was mooted, Victor Gain left, and he went down to, I think it was a girls' school in the south of the country. At that time, I became acting head until we were going to go comprehensive. They decided then they wanted somebody with a lot of comprehensive experience. They brought a fellow in called Derek Henderson from Walsingham Comprehensive School. Derek Henderson came in then. I can tell you lots of stories, we'll have the time. You'd rather not. So anyway, after that happened, then I decided it was time to move on, and I returned to the primary sector to open a school in Chester Street. But I was sad to go because, quite honestly, I had a very happy time here. I enjoyed it. It was a good school. It was a happy school. It was established. Now, in the 40 years that I haven't been back, well, I've been back 3 times actually. I came back to collect an indoor cricket mat which I left here. I came back to collect a film of a trip to Engelberg which I left here. I didn't get either, by the way. I think Graham Moore never got them for me, did he? Where are you, Graham? Nobody ever lied, did you? And then I came back to see what was going on. Well, I'm always watching the newspapers what's going on. And in my day, the top school in the county was undoubtedly Durham Johnson. Chester Parkview came pretty well second. And St Leonard's, Durham City, wasn't far behind. So imagine this year when I read in the newspapers that Moorside were above Durham Johnson and Parkview and St Leonard's. Fantastic, delightful. Then a month ago, I came down into this school to have a look around. And I walked around the school, and it's like walking around a regiment. You can feel when you walk around a regiment or a school what's called tone, and the tone was evident in the school. the way the students moved around, the staff whom I met, the facilities available, tremendous tone in the school, happy. So I would congratulate everybody concerned, you know, the governors, the head, the staff, wonderful job. And I'm sure another change of name won't make a great deal of difference. The school will go from strength to strength, and I wish you all well. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee Dunn from Bill. I've got a very short video to show you. It's 6 minutes long, and it's basically lots of little interviews that were carried out from using past staff and past students.